Hey, if anybody can also tell us at what minute did we stop broadcasting so that I can go back and talk about all the, because
Yeah, what
I'm
were we
telling you,
talking
if you
about?
guys couldn't see something, you guys are missing everything.
4:10.
At 4:10. Okay, so
Okay.
oh, that's good. All right.
Okay, so you're
We're-
about to talk about the.
So I'd gone through the tabbouleh.
Right.
All right, we were talking about hummus.
The-
Grady
the
was
garlic,
doing some
right?
things. Garlic, roasted garlic. All right. I love this whole live chat thing, letting us know when things go horrifically wrong. But is it all working now? Or am I just talking to myself? So Brad, what do you think about your Sauvignon Blanc? Well, I think I hit it out of the park again.
It stopped streaming right after Brad mentioned citrus.
Oh, right after I
Good
mentioned
to know.
citrus. Okay. And at this moment, we think we're back live again?
It shows me.
All
it's
right,
live,
so,
but,
all right.
I see zero people.
Dang it, I just touched my face. Sorry.
okay,
I washed my hands really good. A lot of sanitizer. My
Now
eyeball's
4
super
people.
itchy. My
Gotta
allergies are
rezoom
killing
the
me.
chat. It looks
Here
like
goes
we're
the
Oh,
live.
chat.
here comes some chat.
So we got to get them. To
If
come
anybody's
back
out
in.
there chatty, please give us some
We
chat
have
action.
4 people
4 chatters.
live chat. So it's back.
Are we
We're
back?
back, yes.
we are back.
We're back,
We're back.
okay.
Yay!
You know, I can't believe this is the first technical difficulty we
Randy
had.
is on.
I know.
Who's on?
It
Randy,
works.
Oh.
Randy was the first person to say we were.
He was able to chat with us? Randy Garza, you and your technical difficulty. I love it. Technically, you were difficult.
That was
all right,
amazing
that's a whole other
and
story.
weird.
All right, so we were talking about the citrus. Okay, rewind.
Right, citrus notes. Citrus notes.
It was a citrusy note. I'm not quite sure if it was a citrus note when I was discussing, and then I started talking food. So let's go back to it having a blanc. And if you guys missed the whole tabbouleh thing, here we go. So we've got our tabbouleh, which is mainly a blend of the 3-colored ancient grain of quinoa. I was looking online, a lot of other people would add some tomatoes in. This one's got smashed peas. Oh yeah, we didn't see, there's that, just again.
Just in case.
And then a lot of other people were commenting, hey, there's usually couscous involved in this too. I'm actually glad it was the quinoa, because the
Me too.
quinoa has a
I like
little
quinoa.
more earthy note to it. So you've got the quinoa, you've got the red onion, and then you've got the mint. Those are your 3 probably driving flavors. This has also got a beautiful pepper in there that is a cross between a cayenne and a paprika. Is that okay, Anna? Did I say paprika? Okay, and a paprika? Like a Spanish paprika? Not a paprika. Anyway, but the driving forces are the onion, the mint, and the earthiness. And
Yeah.
what's nice about it is that nothing was super competitive with the Sauvignon Blanc at all.
But the mint comes in just at the
Mm.
back end and makes it delicious. If you didn't hear that, it might have been where it cut out.
Yeah,
But it's
that's
delightful.
absolutely delightful. Super awesome. And then I think when we were cut out, I tried some of this super roasted garlic.
wildly
hummus.
wildly garlicky.
I'm gonna say probably too much garlic for me in general, but believe it or not, the Sauvignon Blanc hung in there. It was
It did.
actually
No, the
very
Sauv
nice
Blanc-
with it. And then Grady also tried this vegan
did.
salamaroni thing. It tasted more general lunch meaty than a
the
particular
flavor is
Italian
there.
salami for me, but it was there, and the Sauvignon Blanc went pretty good with it. I don't think you can get into a heavier red with it because it was. It didn't have a lot of complexity in it. It was just a nice salami in general note flavor, but absolutely fantastic. And thank you so much again, Ruth, for submitting this recipe.
Hey, Ruth, thank you.
Probably have had this before, roaming around the world. Didn't know what the heck it was because it just showed up on my plate. But I love this, and I really love this recipe, and I will be making this more often because I think it'd be great as a nice side.
I'm not a
Okay.
vegetable guy, and that was fantastic.
All right, Danny,
It's
if you
so
can come
good.
and remove that, we're going to move
What?
on to
We're out.
our
It's
next
gone.
wines.
Gone, baby.
Grady, hey, would you please give me the wine key real quick?
I would love to, my friend.
It's over here.
Oh, there it is.
There we go. All right, so we're going to be moving on to our next wine, and our next wine is going to be the Dark Side, and we're going to be pairing that up with the Cheese Crisp. So we'll taste through the Dark Side really quickly, and then we will move on to the Cheese Crisps. All right. And again, sorry for the technical difficulty. I am just shocked that it hasn't happened before. Oh, look, here comes Danny. Every time Grady goes
wanna
out,
say
Danny's like,
hi,
I need some screen time. Need some
Exactly.
screen time.
Just
Shout
want to say
out.
hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Love you guys.
There we go. There's Super D doing his thing. All right, so this is our 2016 Dark Side. There we go. I don't know if we can get the full dark side, the darker side of Brad. This wine's incredibly dark. This one happens to be Peleroussan, Syrah, and Petite Syrah. It's an all-in-the-family blend. If you've never heard of Peleroussan before, it's not your fault. It's a very rare grape, but it is grown in the Rhone. A guy named Durif, a little Francois Durif, created a hybrid, actually Syrah and Durif together, or excuse me, Syrah and Peleroussan, and he created a wine that he called Durif, so he's naming it after himself. He's a little full of it, but that's okay. He made a great grape called Petite Syrah, which most people think is an American grape, but it's not. It's actually a grape from the Rhone.
I'm back.
All right,
What are we doing?
there we go.
I missed everything. I missed the description.
I know. I think if you just yank it out of the wall,
That
that
might-
would be awesome.
I might work on that for next time.
All right,
I'm
so
learning something every single time.
all right, and I always swore, can I get a little piece of white paper around here?
Yeah, I've got a little white paper.
Here's some. Here's some. Here, let's see what I can.
There you go.
All right, it's not perfect, but a lot of people are talking about colors and they really couldn't see it. So you can see. Oh man, look how dark this guy is. That's why we call it dark side. It's also the darker side of Brad. I like, not quite as intense wines as most, but I still appreciate them, and sometimes I'd like to have that as well. So we've got the dark side, the Peleroussan. Let me see. I was all distracted. Everything was going on. All right, here we go.
Sorry
Here
about
it is.
that.
So the Peleroussan, the Syrah, and the Petite Syrah all together, just all thick-skinned dark grapes,
Stunning.
making a fuller-bodied wine. This one, though, we do a little fining on it to make sure that we don't have too aggressive a tannin. Sort of like a
Everywhere.
chocolatey plum, definitely an intense dark cherry.
Oh,
It
that's
envelops the palate. All right, and so
Does.
as this wine is making it smooth, so up front you're greeted. You'll notice there's a little bit of dryness. This has got some tannins in it. But that's okay. These are tannins that we've softened up a little bit with some fining and also with our extended aging process. Not throwing a lot of new oak in there to get it. Creamy vanillas, creamy chocolates, dark plums, cherries. Running all about in this wine. Pretty much this wine gets its 3 years in the barrel as well, both a mix of neutral French and American oak. So the Syrah typically will get American. The Peleroussan got French, and the Petite Syrah got French as well, trying to not add too many more intense flavors to those more intense grapes. Gosh dang, that's just drinking really nice today.
It's pretty stunning right now. And
I think it's really making up for our technical difficulties.
I think it is. It's making me happy.
Hey,
I'll
Danny,
tell you what.
I would love to have a cheese crisp.
We
And
get
then-
to have cheese
I know.
crisps.
And then, hey,
Cheese
I
crisps.
can't remember if I'm all distracted. We do have all of these recipes online, so you can go ahead and click around, go to mercurywine.com, find them there. How do you find them on YouTube, Green?
On YouTube, just click the More button underneath. Thank you, sir.
Dun, dun, dun.
So when you see the video come up, click the More, and it has the entire recipe right there for you, and it's all laid out. And it is so. This is the simplest thing in the world.
They're simple, but they're like,
Depth of
Anna was
flavor.
saying they're like comfort food. These things are just fantastic. I would tilt them up a little bit, but they're going to be sliding off. But if you saw the video, we made a classic cheese crisp. Grady's got that one over here. So you fry up a flour tortilla. You let it cool off for a second. You throw your cheese on there, throw it back in the oven, bake it at 375, 400 degrees for 3 or 4 minutes. Let it crisp up, bubble up, and do all those things. I always love throwing some green chilies on there
Yeah.
as well because I love it when those green chilies meld with the cheese. That's one of my favorite flavors. In the recipe or on the video, you saw that I threw on some Rotel tomatoes on there. But what's cool about this, and in these times where, oh my gosh, what do we have around the house? I don't care if you had some rotisserie chicken last night or you made some ground beef tacos. You can toss pretty much anything on top of these and make a wonderful. Anna was just doing it like she was just using it like a tortilla, a normal tortilla chip, and just loading it up with all sorts of fun things. Absolutely fantastic. Hey, Anna, one thing, my brain works in mysterious ways. I'm going to back up for about 3 or 4 seconds. We didn't take any questions other than we were offline. So
Yeah,
for those
right.
of you that are asking us questions, hang on for just a couple of seconds. I'm going to get through the tasting, the pairing, and then we'll catch up with all those questions that were coming in earlier.
Sorry
there it
about
is.
that.
So anyway, there's the wine. Absolutely fantastic, super dark, delicious. This is a fun wine. Actually, this is a great pairing with this. Before I even get there, because if you have your salami played out or you're making these, this is like one of those interactive things where your friends and family can gather around and they can, put the toppings on that they want. Seriously, you fry up a few tortillas, you throw some cheese and some toppings on. It's a lot of fun. All right, let's do some tasting.
All right.
You've gone through.
I already started
Why don't
eating because it
you-
is so good.
Why don't you talk to me about how it changed the wine, or made the wine better, or made the wine worse, and I'll start tasting.
It made the wine better. It's
No
exciting.
way.
It did.
The wine was
Because-
perfect, Rady. I'm sorry,
I
you're
know the
wrong.
wine-
Nope.
The
Nope.
wine
All right.
was perfect.
Just kidding.
But-
Just kidding.
To my little palate, when you get that nice crunchy bite, and then you have the cheese come in there, and because you deep fried the tortilla, there's so much excitement going on in there, and then you add the wine to that.
Hang on a second. All right, hold the thought. It's the deep frying the tortilla, and the richness of the cheese is what's going to make this wine good. Because the deep frying the tortilla gives you those toasty, rich notes.
Yes.
Now go.
And it plays with those chocolate-covered cherries, which
That's
are
it.
running through this thing. And then the cheese adds more
Yep.
fat,
You
and
hit
it
it.
just rolls with the fat.
You are 100% correct. So we had fat that
I
was in
listened.
from the deep
I
fried,
listened.
and then we had the fat from the cheese. And so this, like we said, was a little more powerful wine, a little more expressive. And when we're talking about pairings, if you have high tannins or intense flavors, and the
See? The burnt notes
yeah.
don't get burnt anymore. The burnt edges are not burnt.
Wait a minute.
They're soft and
Wait a
round
minute,
and
Danny
delicious.
made these. Are you saying that he burnt your tortilla? Chris?
No, not at all. Maybe this one little edge, but everything else is
Never
good.
happened.
Danny is a professional chef. I think you just tossed him under the jumbo bus.
I did not mean to toss anybody under the bus, but
Or
I'm
how
just
about
saying,
the toast? Let's call them toasty notes.
those toasty,
Versus it was
burnt
burnt up
notes,
as a crisp.
delightfully burnt, yet toasty.
We say caramelize. It brings out the natural sugars. Not burnt, caramelized.
There we go.
So it plays
There we go.
beautifully with caramelized flavors. It really, really does.
That's awesome.
It's
And
just so much fun.
I got all those. He described it perfectly. And when he was talking about the toastness, that was just all those flavors blending together. But now with my green chilies on here, that brings a little herbaceous flavor out. So when you're talking about Cabernet and stuff, or Cabernet Franc, where you're talking about Cabernet Franc. Hang on a few minutes, guys. We're going to be talking about Cabernet Franc in a minute as well. But those herbaceous notes kind of come up and lift up the palate as well. But those nice, rich cherries, it really plays very nicely. Oh yeah.
No, it
It's-
plays so beautiful.
The green chilies. You should probably try the green chili. Are you scared? If it's
I just had some tabbouleh, which is way outside my comfort
okay.
zone.
All right. Anybody that knows my brother, you are fully jaw on the floor. Pick
My
up
mother
your jaw.
fell on the
Yeah.
floor when I had a bite of
There is
tabbouleh.
no way he was eating anything like that, and he liked it. And you know what?
And I liked it. It was
I
actually
think he was
really
pretty
good.
That's awesome.
delicious.
All right.
Not any
Excuse
green
me,
chili.
sir. Can we pull those out, and we're gonna
Wait.
get to some questions?
I will take a little bite of the green chili.
All right, do it. All right, he's being super adventurous.
Oh my god! All these years, and I never put green chilies on anything. There's a reason.
All right, so we missed our little Q&A a few minutes ago, and so now I think we've got some Q&As, and we can go back to the beginning and all of that kind of good stuff.
All right.
Am I supposed to read it, or are you going to read it?
I was going to read it to you.
I think you
and
should.
let you answer.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because I struggle with reading.
It could just because you don't have your glasses on.
That's one of it.
How many glasses in a Jeroboam?
How many glasses in a Jeroboam?
A 3 liter.
A 3 liter.
Jeroboam.
All right, that's 3,000 liters. So if we divide, all right. So here's where we're going to do the math. And I'm not going to be put on the spot for the exact math, but I will tell you the math on a 750.
Darn good,
And
right?
then you can go ahead and just add an extra half a glass per 750. So we're going to add a glass and a half. So we've got basically 3 bottles of wine
Right?
and subs. So if you can get restaurant pours of 5 glasses per bottle, and when I'm talking about a restaurant, they're going to give you 5 to 6 ounces of wine in a glass, and those are the restaurants that I typically stay away from. I prefer a restaurant that gives me 6 to 8. But a classic restaurant pour is going to be 5 to 6, because there's 27 ounces in this bottle, and that's going to give them 5 glasses of wine. So we've got 5, 10, 15, and then we've got a glass that's 16. We're going to go, if you have a bartender and you've made your bartender strictly pouring verboten to go over, they cannot have another ounce.
9.
So
That's-
15, 16, 17 and a half
Glasses.
are in there. So that, if you divide that by myself and my brother, then that would be a perfect evening.
Yeah, that'd just
if
be
you have somebody
enough
that's going to
for
drink a
both of
little less, no, seriously. So you got 3+ bottles in there, and you're going to be pouring. Here's the deal. You're going to pour it heavy. You're going to be pouring 6 to 8 ounces. This is a 16-ounce glass. You will pour yourself a half a glass of wine, and now you've got 8 in there. So now you actually only have 4. So we're talking about reality and restaurant. And restaurant's not a good reality for that. What's next?
Our friend Karen says it's paprika, and you were actually saying it right.
Whoop, whoop. I was,
Brad was right.
Paprika.
oh, I was adding a paprika. Okay, if you watch the video,
You know what?
apparently,
Your name's cut out.
apparently I was paprika. All right, thank you
Paprika.
for validating me. I thought I was saying it right, but you know, when I'm making those videos, it's just me and I'm doing everything, and so maybe I was a little crazy with my paprika. All right.
Oh, and our buddy John Huddock also asked,
Hello.
the dark side compared to the Zin, the 17 Zin. Where do they
Okay.
fall together?
Two different animals. All right, the dark side, all about the intensity in dark fruit. The Zinfandel, you know, most people are, if you're familiar with my Zinfandels, and especially since I've been adding a lot of the Russian river fruit in there, so they're not super high alcohol, they're not super jammy. A classic American Zin from even Lodi, you know, Alexander Valley, is a very high alcohol, intense, jammy wine. So you've got less complexity because it's all big explosive fruit. I always like to say that a lot of Zinfandels will be kind of like fireworks going off in your mouth as it going along. Here's a big spot of cherry. Oh, here's some jam. Here's maybe some plums. Here's some. Mine is a little more complex, but still more on the fruity side. So a medium-bodied versus a heavy-bodied is the best way I think I'm going to describe that. Next.
What would you pair with tomato soup?
Tomato soup. Are we going basics? Basil. Usually tomato soup's going to have a little bit of basil
right?
in
Lots of
there.
basil.
A little bit of
Gotta have
garlic, a
basil.
little bit of pepper. Tomato soup. Right off the bat, I'm going to go with a lighter red. But not a complex lighter red. Not like a Pinot Noir. You can do a Pinot Noir, I think, with it, and it would be okay. But I think that the Pinot Noir is too complex, and then the high acid tomatoes and the cream are going to sort of wash all that out.
Are you thinking?
I don't. I was going to go with a wine I don't make, and a wine that's not from here.
Oh.
I would say the perfect wine for that would be a Chianti.
Oh.
I would
Yeah,
probably
sure.
bump up to a Chianti Classico just so that you can have something that's going to be a little bit higher quality.
Yeah,
But if you were going to be picking an American Sangiovese, I would go with the Ramazzotti Sangiovese.
The
That's
Ramazzotti
obviously not a
Sangiovese.
Chianti. And it's going to be higher than the Classico version because it's a super high quality wine. But I'm talking about that light, fruity bodied red that doesn't have a whole lot of tannins. And that's what I would do there. Oh, something new. Someone's going to, I can't read it, so that's good.
Grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese, a grilled cheese sandwich. All right, grilled cheese. All right, basic grilled cheese with. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that if you're watching this channel that you have gone, and then we're going to move on to the next one, guys. So we'll hold those questions. But for this one, I'm going to assume that since you're watching this channel and you're drinking my wine, that you're not going with a craft single. Nothing wrong with craft singles. I'm assuming that you're going with possibly a white cheddar, maybe an aged cheddar, something like that. So you're going to have a more intense flavored wine. And there I'm going to go ahead and say, because you've got this beautiful toasty white bread, you've got this nice sharp cheddar, I'm going to say my super mini jar. My easy drinking
that was
table
the
wine
one I was
is
thinking.
the
Yeah,
one that's going to do it.
yeah.
I mean,
So you go with the tomato, right?
It's good. It's tomatoes in your grilled cheese? Are you putting tomatoes in your grilled cheese sandwiches
do.
these days?
No,
I went
but
from you see, here's the deal. We were talking about tomato soup,
Uh-huh.
and now we're talking about grilled cheeses.
But
But,
you-
now
but
you're
you
going to
do
do both. Okay, so
tomato
now
soup
Grady
and
wants to
grilled
bring them
cheese
both together. All right,
That's
so
kinda
he's
what I like
bringing
to
two
do.
things together. So
I
he's
like
going
to
to do
dip
tomato
them.
soup, and he's going to do the
I
cheddar.
like to dip them together.
Here's the deal. With the Kraft single, I have no idea what you're going to pair. I might try to buy one to see what I would do.
We
but I'm gonna,
should.
I'm,
We should.
Actually, I'm not going to.
I will.
But what I am going to do is, what I'm going to say is that actually the wine that's going to go with both of those, the tomato soup and the grilled cheese, is going to be my super mini jug.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. You guys are watching. You're first to know. I'm going to do a super limited run of my super mini jug. Because
What?
these are times where
What?
you know we got to pull out all the stops. I've got a little bit of the glass.
You do?
I do.
That's awesome.
This was technically for next week. We were going to be talking about this next week because next week we're preparing for Easter. And Easter, I always think bubbles. I think rabbits,
Yeah,
eggs, popcorn,
Mhm.
fun. All right, I have a different type of Easter than most. But anyway, Easter's coming up. But a lot of people do enjoy their champagne. It's a Sunday morning event. And so we're going to be doing the 10-year anniversary. We're doing the Black Bubbles next week. And I was also going to bring out the super mini jug.
Oh,
and
yeah.
here's the thing. Everybody knows we've been out of stock of these for a long time. But I had a few cases of glass left over. And so we're going to be producing a super limited run, maybe 10 or 15
I'm going
cases
to
of
be very
these.
busy next week.
And so, since I let the cat out of the bag, of course, let us know if you need them, and I'll figure out what I can do to make it happen. Okay?
Wow. Well, that was super fun.
But the super mini jugs. What's the super mini jug? The super mini jug is the classic, what I'm going to say, Italian table wine or European table wine. Anybody that's been over to Europe, you go to the little cafe and you don't get a bottle of wine, you don't get a glass of wine. They say mini, half carafe or full carafe. Half carafe is 500 milliliters. It's absolutely perfect for so many situations. Great for lunch. Great for that time that you come home, have a couple vodkas. Now you're making dinner. You made a little pasta, a little red sauce, which you want a couple of glasses of wine with it, and that's what I make them for. It's just a simple, easy drinking red wine. This blend happens to be mainly Zinfandel and Syrah, but a little smidgen of Cabernet in there to give it some structure.
Nice.
There we go. We just went fully off the rails.
Totally off the rails, but I love it.
Totally off the
But I'm
rails.
so excited about it.
All right. Where's my rails?
Speaking of exciting,
Back on the rails. All right,
back
here we
into
go.
the heavy metal.
All right, so here's the heavy metal. Oh, I'm supposed to show the bottle first. Everybody wants to see.
Look at that sexy person on
Most
there.
people don't recognize that person anymore because I think this was from 20 years ago. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody knows. Oops, I might be a little trouble. Everybody knows.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wait a minute. Get side by side. Come on.
Yeah, let's do a side-by-side
Look at
comparison.
that. Oh, yeah. Still super sexy. Everything's looking good. All right, so everybody knows that Danny's on the front, my rock star. But this is our Petit Verdot blend. Petit Verdot, another big full-bodied red wine, but not quite as complex as the dark side because this is very heavy in the Petit Verdot realm and just a little splash of some other stuff in there. This is a 2016 as well. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready
Hit
too.
me.
What's nice is I've got some residual of the, I'm calling not burnt, just toasted enough, flour tortilla. This is also one of my very dark wines as well. All right,
Again, beautiful color. Just stunning.
not as much complexity on the nose, but the intensity is all there. Just
Intensity is there.
just a,
There's so
like
much happening.
earthy plums.
Earthy plums. There's some star ants rocking in there.
Star anise.
Anise, ants. Let's have an argument about that pronunciation too. I got one laugh at the end of the day. That was my whole goal.
All right. I like a little star anise in my Petit Verdot. Petit Verdot, an intense,
Man.
not rigid, but just an intense wine. But not a lot of layers of this and layers of that. This one presents itself strong, plums, dark cherry, earth.
Yep. Oh God, but the nose just
Yeah.
leads you right
Nose
down
are-
the primrose path. It
That's
is
what I'm
stunning.
getting. I mean, all those. Actually, whew, seriously, I'm going back to the cheese crisp was really working.
The cheese
on
crisp
this.
is
And-
hanging
and
in there
a lot of times, guys,
beautifully.
this is something about. Come here, listen to me. This is the deal when you're doing food and wine pairings and you serve something to your guests and the wine doesn't taste good, sometimes it's what you put on the plate. Sometimes it could be something as innocuous as a Marcona almond, but all of a sudden today is not playing well with your Exena or something like that. So honestly, that's why you're supposed to have a glass of wine while you're creating your cheese plates and when you're making the food, and you can kind of see how things are playing. Getting back to that, it's super important to always be tasting it. And when you're following a recipe, you should be tasting along with the recipe and not just follow exactly what Brad said, because maybe you like a little more mint and you would like a smidgen more of this or a smidgen more of that. You gotta be creative while you're cooking. And that's why I love cooking so much, because it's just like my wine. When I'm blending something, it's great, I'm loving it, but I think it could need something more. I'll add a little bit of this or a little bit of that. Same thing with cooking. So that's just what I wanted to say. So this wine's, I think, tasting better than it normally does. And I love it. I just think it tastes better because of those nice toasty flavors we just had.
The flavor was spectacular, and it's carrying over.
It's kind of like, dealing with somebody that's, not very pleasant, and then you talk to a pleasant person, you might still have some of that bitter in there. Same thing with your
I
food
only
and
deal
wine.
with pleasant people. I've never had that experience
Oh
before.
my goodness.
But
Well,
see, I'm in the
well-
tasting room a lot more than you are.
Welcome to America, where everybody is so nice and kind. All good stuff.
Everybody's kind. We have such good times up here in Geyserville, and I can't wait to
Holy
see you guys
mackerel. All
when
right.
we can see you guys.
All right, we're gonna bring in some just a regular cheese platter with this. I'm
Nice.
gonna say
Fly in the
I'm gonna
cheese platter.
I'm gonna say fry up some tortillas and pair it up with this, because that burnt
The dark side
that burnt
flavor,
tortilla
nice
flavor
cheese
was
crisp.
great. All right, there's Danny
Oh,
again.
wow.
Hi, Danny.
Hello.
All right. All right, and then
Thank you,
as
sir.
soon as we do a little tasting here, we've got some. Oh, do we need to? Is this an important? Do we need a news break? Breaking news.
Nice.
All right. Here we go. And then we also I did bring in some of this, some of that vegan
some
salami
vegan
as
stuff
well.
again.
I just wanted to kind of see how it handled the fuller bodied wines, because it was totally fine.
I've
with
got
the
a
second
feeling
one.
it's going to do really well.
General Subway sandwich style meaty flavor.
I think it's
Not-
a little better than Subway. Is that bad to say?
No. I meant the hoagie. I'm going to call it hoagie.
Oh, like a hoagie.
You
Not
were
just
talking
a-
about I didn't mean to. I was not slandering Subway.
Not
They're
at
a
all. Never.
fantastic American
Love it.
sandwich shop.
Fantastic.
I was just talking about a general hoagie flavor.
Right.
Where
kind of that
if I had some oil,
bologna.
if I had oil and vinegar mixed up in there, I'm like, that's a nice general meaty flavor.
Yeah, it's a general
It's-
meaty flavor. It tastes like meat.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked.
I don't like it. It's good. All right, here we go.
really good.
All right, so that was that. Actually, that was fine.
Actually, it was pretty gosh darn good, I thought.
I've also got some of. Here's my go-to. If you know Brad, you know this. This is going to be on my cheese platter every single time,
Every time.
bar none. Don't live without it. Always get it. It's called goat milk Gouda, but
It's
you can
like
only
crap.
call it Gouda as if it comes from Holland. So when you talk to your cheesemonger and he gets angry with you when you want the Cowgirl Creamery from California that makes what is technically a goat milk Gouda style. It's an aged goat cheese, so it's not soft and creamy. It's got a few months of
Depth.
It's got some depth. So,
flavor.
look
It's
how
exciting.
look there it is. It's
That's
nice
beautiful.
and hard, but it's not super hard. It's not like a pecorino or something like that. But what it has is these what most people don't like about a soft goat cheese: super high acid and intensity. The acids tend to balance once it goes together. And what's neat about this, it's got some earthy notes in there, right? There's creaminess.
Creaminess, but on the background, it brings back that delicious richness that you don't get. Goat cheese can be super sharp, but when it's made in the Gouda style, it has a richness to it that comes in the back end that is delightful.
Aged goat milk. And then for those of you that know me, Tempranillo and aged goat milk cheese. Oh, just so freaking fantastic. It goes great with Albarino as well, because those Spanish guys just love those aged goat milk cheeses.
Oh, yeah.
So that's very nice. All right.
Let's see how chorizo and blue cheese stand up to the dark side.
Well, the chorizo is going to be absolutely fantastic. You've got that Spanish paprika in there, and
My
then
glass
you've
is empty.
got the blue
Weird.
that's going to give you those tangy, zesty notes. Tangy, zesty. You think?
I'm getting all the tang and all the zest.
That's why they call them Wu-Tang.
But then you're
They
the
don't call you
wine.
Wu-Tang? I
They haven't
that's...
called- They haven't called me Wu-Tang since I left LA. No, sorry.
So, well, it's been a few years. No?
Fantastic. No, it's stunning. You were right. The zesty, the tangy,
It's
it all
zesty,
plays there. But
it's
the nice
tangy.
thing about
It's
Heavy
paprika.
metal.
It's paprika.
it's paprika
It's got
coming
that
in.
super paprika intensity going on there. I had
The
it
nice
just a
thing
few
that
minutes ago
mitigates-
before we started.
That mitigates
Oh.
that is the heavy metal.
And then just a little bit of spice. But I think not necessarily mitigating. I think it's a playing well together.
No,
Because
no.
you have that paprika.
Right.
Oh, mitigating it by bringing
By
the
bringing-
paprika
by
down.
bringing
Because it's
it
pretty
back.
intense on its own.
Because it's super intense, but
Right.
it brings it down. Then it allows the wine flavors to come through too,
Right.
and they play so beautifully. They really do.
Reminds me of her sister. It was a little intense.
Yeah,
need
but
to
let's
bring- we
not
need to
talk
bring-
about
we
the
need to bring
Merlot
her
right
down.
now.
Need to bring her down a little bit. That's absolutely fantastic as well. All right, Anna, do we have anything that somebody would like to say to us?
Actually, I do have one quick thing. Ruth says, thanks for the shout out. And Ruth, thank you for the fantastic recipe. That was amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Okay, Ruth, seriously, unbelievable. And die when he ate that, and that was the first time he tasted it on live TV. We got something else coming over
I
here.
do. Andra asks, who's the better cook, Danny or Brad?
Oh, well, that's not going to create any problems tonight.
Yeah, thanks a lot for
Haven't
that.
you, haven't you
Thank
heard
you.
the divorce rate has been clicking up since we've been social distancing and staying together for many, many hours? There's no comparison. Danny is the better cook by far. He is a professional and he knows how to chop and walk with the best, and he knows how to put things together. I'm more adventurous. So he understands cooking and chefing and all of that. I'm like, hey, I think if we added X to this, my wine's gonna pair up great with it. So I'm a little more adventurous on the flavors, but Danny's come on.
Freddie, where's
He's,
our friend?
they don't call him super sous chef Danny for nothing.
Where's Freddie?
All right.
Freddie,
Yeah.
come on, we've got.
Why don't
we
you
had
ask
lots of
another-
people asking
another
if little
Chris.
Freddie
Oh, we
was
have
around
Freddie.
today.
Come on,
That was
Hanson.
the right answer. Come on, Fred.
No. Fredos, come here, handsome.
Come here,
All right, we
Mr.
need a Freddie
Fredo.
sighting. People are dying for some
We
Freddie
need a
action.
little Freddie action
Come
today.
here, up, handsome. Come on.
Oh, there's Mr.
There he is.
Fred. There's the best dog ever.
Can you wave to the camera?
wave to the camera?
Hi, everybody. I'm Freddie, and I miss you. And I've been super angry because no one comes and gives me treats.
Because nobody comes to give Freddie treats except the UPS guy. Thank you, Hector, by the way.
Hector, I mean, I don't know, $3,000-$4,000 a year he personally spends in Freddie treats because he stops by 4 times a day, and Freddie gets a treat every single time. Shout out, Hector. You're
Thank
the
you,
best.
Hector. You
Thank
are
you
the
very much.
best. UPS rocks.
Yes, and UPS has been fantastic to me. Thanks, UPS. Oh, one more?
All right. Quick. Jessica said she enjoyed the rosé, the new rosé with tomato soup. She thought it was fantastic.
You know what?
that
thank
might
you
have
for
just
mentioning-
hit right on the head.
You know,
yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say, absolutely. For those of you that don't know, I made a new rosé. I'm typically a fuller-bodied, heavy rosé guy. I made a classic Loire rosé called Le Classique. If you don't like white peaches, oh my God, it's white peaches, nectar, dry, with beautiful crisp green apples on the finish to bring you home. It's awesome. I think we're down to two and a half cases of that. So if you need some more, please
Order
give us a
up.
call and order it up. I think Randy Garza was supposed to call in and order a case a day, so we might be just down to one. But you know, he's pretty busy and he hasn't gotten back to me.
Next, what? Do you have more questions?
I tell you what, you start the question.
All right.
Now it's time to do a surprise. Surprise what?
Surprise wine! I love surprise wines. So our good friend Carrie is asking,
Oh,
is there a difference between licorice and star ants?
Star Ants are on a very small TV network that nobody's heard of. And anise is the licorice flavor in black licorice. Is there a difference?
Is there
Well,
really a difference?
there is a difference. Licorice has sugar. Anise does not. So when you're talking about, if I said licorice,
Right.
I would then be insinuating that this wine would have a
hint
sweetness to it
to the
that's trying
licorice
to
flavor.
balance the licorice flavor. If I'm just talking about Grady Small anise, I would be talking about something that didn't have a sweet note attached to it.
I think you answered that perfectly. Excellent. All right, thank you.
All right, so our last couple weeks, everybody's been talking about Cab Franc, Cab Franc, Cab Franc. Oh my God, it's awesome. Brad, make more. I am making more. It's coming. But the Cab Franc that I have, I don't have any 09, but I have a 07. I might open that up someday. I'm not sure when. But I do have some of my 2013 that we do have a few cases left. So if you need some Cabernet Franc, you can do this. So our surprise wine tasting today is going to be the 2013 Cabernet Franc. We had a huge discussion on Cabernet Franc, and we had a huge discussion on this particular wine that we call the Father. Just on a side note, we call it the Father because Cabernet Franc is the father of Cabernet Sauvignon. It is the father of Merlot. High up in the genealogy of Petit Verdot. So of the 5 noble grapes, it's one of them, and high up in the genealogy of
The
favorite
dad.
grapes. Ooh, I didn't go deep enough.
Brad, when does that ever happen?
Still got it.
Damn it. Nice job. Oh, I'm so excited for this.
All right. Oh, man,
So
that
let's,
dark
uh,
side, that has some good stuff.
This is
Oh.
for you, Mr. Noyed.
We didn't. Yes, we didn't do a bottle shot earlier. Okay, and for those of you that just joined us, don't forget we've got the 6-bottle $1 flat rate shipping and all that kind of fun stuff going on. We have our friends and family, so if you were a friend of a club member, you get their discount plus the $1 shipping. If you're not a friend of somebody that is a club member, join the club. Then you can get all those fun things.
Great.
Otherwise, we're going to charge you full price on everything.
That's right.
And I don't want to do that right now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
That's the 13 Father.
That's Cabernet Franc. All right, 2013, 3 years in the barrel, mainly French oak because I like French oak on Cabernet Franc, but there is a little bit of Merlot in here as well, and the Merlot might have had some of the American in there, but a nice blend of neutral and French. Cabernet Franc brings structure. The reason why it's a background blender in France is because it doesn't get ripe enough, but it's an amazing wine that gives structure and color. And typically, if you're going to be drinking a mainly Cabernet Franc in France, it's going to have green or vegetative or green bell pepper flavors. I like my vegetables on my plate, not in my wine. But because we get an extra 2 weeks of growing out here, because of our spectacular weather, we can take those green flavors and push them to the background. They're not gone, but the green flavors are what's giving this amazing amount of structure. And that's why people put Cab Franc in so many things, because Cab Franc can give beautiful structure and beautiful flavors with just small amounts.
And when you say structure, it's holding from the front to the back all the way.
No
to the
fireworks. No fireworks here. No surprise around the corner, I got scared. No dad jokes.
No, not at all.
It smells freaking
Stunning.
fantastic. It's a dominant cherry flavor, but it's got some wonderful earthy forest floor notes in there as well because it's getting older. Those forest floor notes are starting to build now.
Mm-hmm. And even though it has some age,
I can just smell this all day.
Yeah.
Well, again, with the whole thing, it's just starting to get a little bit of an
hint.
orange limp over there. So the oxidation is starting to come through, but the oxidation is an enemy and a friend. It's an enemy because when your wine oxidizes all the way, it's not going to be good because you've lost all your fruit. But it's a friend because it also helps tame those tannins and allows other fruit flavors to come up.
wow.
Come on.
Wow. My glass
Come
is
on.
empty
All right.
already.
All right. Elegance, subtlety, nuance, all backed up with this underlying power that's running through there. You know that this is a big, intense wine, but it's got the elegance and the subtlety to allow it to have it be approachable, right? You don't need to have the fatty steak or the rich, intense meal to go with this. I can drink this all day on its own. Especially it's been nice and cool around here,
Yep.
sitting by the fire. Gosh darn, all my big intense wines. I just love sitting by the fire, a little bit of cheese, a little nibble.
A little chorizo.
Getting some Netflix action on. Oh, speaking of Netflix, next week when we do these champagnes, we're going to be talking about popcorn, and there's nothing better than having a little bowl of popcorn while you're watching Netflix with some
Right.
champagne.
Champagne makes things fun. Oh my God, the chorizo
All right. Yeah.
just brings out all the richness
Yeah.
of the fruit.
I'm going with my 5-year cave-aged cheddar.
Excellent call, sir.
Oh, that's intense. Maybe, no, you know what I want?
Goat milk Gouda.
That's not what I wanted.
That's really surprising.
I want the blue cheese. That was, Craft Services had blue cheese on our
Oh, wait,
Craft
it's right
Services
here.
plate. Oh,
It was hidden underneath
Brady
the
was
cheese
hiding
knife.
it with his giant paddle.
I was, because I didn't want you to have any.
Anna, I was like, are you kidding me? This is the one that I wanted with the blue.
Way to go, Craft Services.
All right, so we've got a nice blue here. Oh,
The blue is maybe the perfect pairing.
Let's see. Oh, that blue's got a little bluer than last week. Oops. I wonder if our refrigerator's not working well.
No, it's good. No, it works. It works really nicely.
Holy macaroni. That's very nice as well. Oh, that brings out, that brings out a lot of the mushroom and the forest floor on the finish.
The mushrooms really start
is.
popping.
It is full mushroomy right now. So if you had a steak and some mushrooms and you threw a little bit of this little blue cheese crumble over the top, that would accentuate it perfectly, because I would like to have a little more fat on my palate right now to also balance just the fact that that blue cheese was so intense. I did a blue cheese 2 weeks ago that was cut with sour or cream cheese, and so it wasn't quite as intense. This is one of those super fog belt classic Sonoma County, Northern California blues that just,
They get something grabs your tongue.
I think it's more of a tackle.
It is kind of a tackle, but
it's
the
like-
father is the
It's like
perfect
the
thing
refrigerator
to recover
Perry
with.
just jumped on your tongue with all the blue flavor. Holy crap. So the blue cheese even needs to be balanced. And so the blue cheese needs the balance of that delicious fatty steak. So you have those fat molecules laying around in your tongue. So when the blue cheese finally gets there, it's not overwhelming and stomping on your tongue like refrigerator Perry doing his dance.
Exactly. Would you like to take a few more questions?
I think it's question time.
Let's take a few more questions. Actually, this is more of a fun statement.
A fun statement. I love fun statements.
Our friend Susan enjoyed stir-fried Szechuan lamb with pea pods and axina for her birthday the other day.
A sexual.
She said it was
Wait a minute. All right.
lovely.
Okay, I'm gonna go through this. A stir-fried
Yep.
Szechuan lamb
Yep. With pea pods.
with pea pods.
Stunning.
Holy
With
cow.
axina? The flavors must have been. Now that's explosive.
I have not
That's
had the Axina with the lamb. But when I was talking earlier about mint and those big berry jammy sauces that typically coincide with the dipping sauces with the lamb. So now all of a sudden you didn't need the big juicy sauce.
Right.
You used my big juicy wine, which is that giant summery fruit explosion of Axina. Holy cow.
Hello, Fred.
That sounds great.
Fred.
Actually, hey, shout out to our friends at 8 Dragons down in Healdsburg. We had that last night for dinner. We love to cook, but
Sometimes
we needed
it's nice
to
that
not
restaurants are
cook,
still
especially
doing
now
their
that I'm
thing.
destroying the kitchen every 2 or 3 days doing these cooking videos. Danny was like, I'm not washing 3,000 pans again tonight. I usually have people do that for me. So we decided that we were going to go out, and of course we want to keep supporting our local restaurants, and I don't care where you are in the country. And I know it's hard because it's expensive to eat out, and maybe you don't have the paycheck that you had before, but we're just trying to do our best in helping all of our friends out here in Healdsburg. We got something else going on?
We have someone who's smoking crack online.
You know what?
Andra,
Would
our
you
good
please
friend Andra.
send us a picture of your pipe? I want to see if it's as nice as mine.
Are you selling the 07 father?
No.
No. There.
But in these tough times,
if there was one in your cellar,
let me double check that I've got one in the cellar. And then come to me with a
I wouldn't
prize that I
drink it.
can't forget.
I wouldn't drink it.
Something that that makes me crazy. Or maybe we need to come to terms where we have you over for dinner and then we open that together,
Yeah,
so that we
that
can
could be fun.
enjoy that together.
once we're
because
allowed to be together.
I'm not even sure that $1,000 would.
I don't know, a seven? A seven?
700?
Maybe
$700,000?
Maybe only Matt War
How about-
and Lou
How about
would
half?
have
How about
an
half the
07.
stimulus package?
There you go.
We'll let that one go.
We do have 13 though.
But we do have the 13, and it is absolutely tasting fantastic. And hey, a little birdie maybe told me 2016. Maybe it's going to be ready by December. We'll see.
So
there's
now
a-
our good friend Randy from Arizona, Randy
Are
and
we sure?
John.
We've got a few Randys.
We do.
Oh,
It's
Randy and John. John, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you.
Apparently, you want a case of Vaccina. I will take care of that for you. I'll call you tomorrow.
We could do that. That sounds. Oh, he just got a case of Xena.
Oh, he just
no.
got
Randy
one?
was saying
You
that
will-
he just got
You
a
don't
case
need
of
another?
Xena. There we go.
Are you sure you don't need
Well,
another?
he will when he's floating in his fancy little pool.
Okay.
Or can
And-
you put a floaty in your indoor garden?
Maybe. And then he also said the 2009 heavy metal is tasting divine.
Oh wow, you've got a
You've got a special
oh, man.
special bottle.
I've got a few of those, but I have not had an 09 in a long time, and that was the
been a
original.
while.
That was when
That was
the
the first year.
when you talk about the carpet and the drapes. That was when the label. That was when the label matched the man. Okay, I'm getting in trouble. Got Mike in. There we go. There we go. We'll never update the label. We'll keep the label just like that. Oh my gosh. But for those of you that joined us late, I just also wanted to say thank you for supporting
Yeah.
us on this channel. That's absolutely fantastic. And thank you, for buying wine. We really do
We so
appreciate that
appreciate
and supporting us. And don't forget, you can give your club membership to a friend. They can call us up, mention your name, and they can then experience the same things that you do. A VIP experience. We're going to get your wine shipped out really quickly for you. If you buy 6 bottles or more, you get $1 shipping. So they're going to get your crazy discount, and they're going to get $1 shipping, which makes no sense to me.
And you
I'm
could
gonna-
win a 3-liter.
Oh, that's the most important part. Because if you have a friend buy wine from me, what do you get? Oh,
a ticket.
I've got to
into
learn
the
how this.
3-liter.
It's all reversed for me here.
I know it's all weird.
But you can have this, a super sexy 3-liter. This is etched, hand painted, absolutely fantastic, and it's full of our 2015 Cabernet. So it's a beautiful bottle. It's going to last for years. We did open some up just the other day, and it's just drinking fantastically. So if your friends call up an order, you get a ticket, they get your discount, you get a ticket, you could possibly win this bottle. I don't think we have more than 15 or 20 people that ordered last week. So you got right now your chances are 1 in 20, and if we get 20 more, it'd be a 1 in 40 chance to win a $600 bottle of wine. So if you are a friend of a friend, join up. And then you can tell your friends to order, and then you could be in line.
And you could get
to
one
order
too.
this. So I think that's what the whole networking thing is about.
Networking
And we
is
would sure
about that,
appreciate it because
yeah.
we are small producers. And the only way most people would have ever found us
Great.
was if you stumbled into Geyserville and then realized there was
Wanna come up here
fantastic
and say hi?
wine in our
Come here,
great
Fred.
shop.
Come here, Mr. Fred.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about is that, well, first of all, for those of you that are new to us, it's
Just want to
you
say
can
hi and bye.
you can give us a call. It's 707-857-9870 is our phone. If you ring in right now, you can say, "Oh, look, that's me." We're not going to answer it right
I'm
now.
not gonna
though,
answer the phone.
Or we could. If you got to
No,
I'll tell you
I'm
what.
not answering
If-
the phone.
I'll answer the phone if it's a 3-piece order. We will answer the phone for that. Or you can email us, which is the best way to go. That's info, I-N-F-O, at mercurywinesingular.com. So mercurywine.com. You can shoot us an email. Hey, I'm friends with Susan Ganzel, and she
Or
says
say
you guys
Lou.
are awesome, and we need 6 or 7 cases of wine because we're so thirsty. That'd be awesome. So we've got all that going on. Do we have any more questions? for
One
these
more
folks?
thing. Lou just chimed in, says he has an 06 and an 07 father.
Mm.
I knew he would have them. I knew he would have them. He has an
Lou,
06 and 07.
An 06 and an 07?
And maybe we could have him on and we could do a vertical or
maybe
something.
we should.
Maybe we should have Lou come visit us. Lou would bring his crazy wines or something someday.
We're gonna throw that in the mix. Lou, we will because people have been craving for a lot of the comments over the last couple of weeks were to do a vertical. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what we're gonna do. Hey Danny, there's one more over there. We're gonna do a vertical of the father. That sounds absolutely fantastic. And I'm gonna do a deep dive into my
Whoa.
cellar and see if I can
Whoa.
find anything else to complement that, or to see if we have a second or third bottle, just in case somebody wants to get in that.
One last question
Okay.
before we cut it off. Someone's asking, what is Freddie's favorite wine?
Oh.
That crazy dog.
Well, Freddie's favorite wine. All right. Well, he is a fellow winemaker. Started producing the Freddie Rosé, a classic still rosé
Yep.
made in a Southern Spanish style. years ago, and he absolutely loves it. He's still making that today. Then he graduated into making a sparkling, and then he started making the Freddy Cuvée,
Our
which
delicious
is
GSM.
A
Wait, oh,
GSM
What?
blend. There we go. Oh,
What is this?
don't look at the vintage on this.
Don't look at the vintage because
Don't
we don't
look
have
at the
that.
vintage because we,
We don't
don't
have
want to.
that.
We're not talking about this
We have
wine.
no idea what that is. All right,
This
why is
wine-
it even here?
This wine might be in your next wine club. We'll see. So there's Freddie. So Freddie, like me, has a hard time struggling with picking what's your favorite wine because he likes them all so much. But because the first sparkling wine that Mercury produced was actually the Freddie Sparkling Rosé, that's his favorite wine. And we've got probably 2.5 to 3 cases of that. So that's Freddie's special wine. All right, my friends, there you have it. So we're
That's
going to do
it.
a couple things. Now, what I didn't know about these live chats,
We learn
and
every
videos,
day.
is that when I sign off, your chat stops as well. And so some people were still talking to
Trying
us.
to
So
chat.
what we're going to do is we're going to leave the chat up for a few minutes. We're just going to go off screen, turn off the mic, and then you guys can chat or chat at us, order wine. Actually, we'll just chat at us and say, "Oh, Brad, we need some wine. This sounds fantastic." But this is, gosh dang it, this was a
This was
fantastic
so much
day.
fun. This was fantastic. Thank you for all the fun questions. Thank you, Brad, for opening the father.
You're welcome. Oh,
That was
one last thing,
exciting.
gosh dang it, I always
What?
forget something. Send us your recipes.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you have a
If
favorite
you have a
recipe,
stuff,
send it
let
to
us
me.
know.
I'll cook it. I'll see what I can do. We'll thumb through those. We'll cook those recipes, and then I'll figure out a great wine that goes with it. Probably like $100 bottle of wine, so I can get you
Yeah,
by case
definitely.
or
Definitely
something like
pair
that.
it with
No,
something
I will
expensive.
find a wine for it to pair with, or well, apparently now we're going to be doing a vertical tasting of the Father. Next week we're doing the champagne tasting, so that'll be the one afterwards.
Maybe 2 weeks.
And in 2 weeks we'll do the vertical tasting of the Father because we have to have champagne for Easter, because
come
there's
on.
nothing better than drinking champagne on Easter because it's a Sunday and you're off.
That's right. And you're having Easter eggs.
With the exception of all of our great nurses and firefighters and people who are protecting us, one day you'll get a day off, and I promise you that you'll get to enjoy some of that as well.
Definitely.
But those are the things that we're doing. Please shoot us the questions, shoot us the emails, and we'll take care of you. And please tell your friends because you know we're small, we're boutique. We just relied on people stumbling across us, and now we need to really rely on all of our good friends. That will tell their friends that these are great wines. And then when your friend says, when they get that wine, they say, "How come you never gave it to at my house?" That's going to be your cross to bear for hoarding it and not showing it to them earlier.
I get it.
Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of you to hanging in there through our technical difficulties today.
Sorry about
I don't
that.
know what happened.
I have
I'm
no idea.
sure that we're not going to correct it for next week because we have no idea what happened. So
So
we're gonna be looking at getting all that kind of stuff figured out. Did I forget to tell them anything?
No, I think we hit everything. Nice job.
Fantastic. Cheers, my friend. And
Cheers.
he did sanitize that hand before he
I did.
he waved it.
I did.
He's safety Sadie. You
Me.
know. Cheers, everybody. Thank you so much. Do, 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 do.
Do, 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 do.